Good evening, you're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Tonight, 18 people dead and many more injured and trapped after an under-construction flyover in the heart of Kolkata has suddenly collapsed this afternoon. The builder has called it an act of God. Is this just shocking apathy? Mamata begins a blame game as well, pointing fingers at the left which commissioned the project. Who exactly is responsible for this man-made tragedy? Well, these are the latest shots that are coming to you from the rescue site. As I said, that there are many people feared to be trapped under the debris of that flyover that actually came crashing down. And this is the exact moment when it happened, captured on CCTV camera. As you can see there, it's a pretty busy road. It's also a fairly congested road as well in the heart of Kolkata. Well, eyewitnesses said that the flyover literally snapped into two. It was all over within a matter of 5 to 6 seconds. Well, the flyover is about 2 kilometers long at the Bada Bazaar, falling there in that crowded marketplace. Many people believed to be buried under the metal and the concrete. The flyover had been under construction since 2009 and in fact had missed 8 deadlines for its completion. Well, a massive rescue operation is currently underway to bring out those people who are trapped in the debris. There's a big effort underway by the Army, the National Disaster Management Authorities, the NDRF, the Kolkata Police. They're using sensors, sniffer dogs, even drilling machines. There was a 140-ton crane that was sent to the site, but it was also unable to lift the concrete there.
High-power cranes have been called in to assist the rescue operation. Can't see much headway being made, except that yes, 2 or 3 people have been rushed away in ambulances, and I can see a stretcher over there, and clearly the firemen, the police and the civilians who have come in are expecting a breakthrough any minute to get some people out. What lies under this huge mass of steel and concrete? No idea. Sir, आप बताएं, आप यहाँ पे थे, आपका नाम? मनोज जी, क्या देखा आपने, क्या हुआ, आपका क्या आशंका है?
11 बजे देखा मैंने, ब्रिज बहुत जोर से आवाज हुआ, बहुत जोर से टूटा और पैसेंजर बस थी ब्रिज के नीचे, वो सब अंदर में हो गई है।
तो सब निकल नहीं पाए?
नहीं, कोई नहीं, अंदर में है सब अभी।
तो आपकी आशंका
देखिए, गॉड देखिए, जैसे तैसे रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चल रहा है, जल्दी से जल्दी उन लोग को अलाइव बाहर निकाला जाए।
In Kolkata, with Giri Shankar, Mamata Banerjee, NDTV.
Well, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee left her campaign midway today and then rushed to the accident site. She has called it a monumental tragedy but has already been facing a lot of criticism, certainly from the opposition as well as others. But she also pointed fingers at the opposition, particularly the left, because she said that the flyover had actually been commissioned under the left government.
একটা কাজ পাওয়া মানে তো কাজটাকে সুন্দর করে করতে হবে। কাজ পাওয়া মানে তো এটা নয় যে আমি কোনো রকম একটা করে দিলাম আর চলে গেলাম। আর এইসব লোকেদের তো কাজ দেওয়াই উচিত না, যাদের এই সমস্ত ব্লैक लिस्टेड। हमारा पहले का गवर्नमेंट का और 4-5 काम ऐसा ही हुआ था। हम लोगों ने नया से भी शुरू किया था। एक तो ब्रिज उल्टूडंगा में आप देखो, हाफ तो उतर गया था और वो भी तोड़ गया था, उसको भी हम लोगों ने नया से शुरू किया है। ऐसे बहुत सारे काम आए, हम क्या करें?
And we already done almost 65-70% of the work is already over. Still the remaining 45% is supposed to complete and still in the process. Nothing has happened. Today the girders were missed, it seems. Still is in the process. One girder is missed, then second one also fell. And that's how the accident has taken place. It's nothing but a God's act.
About 70% plus work has been completed, and even this top slabs what we are doing, 60th slab we are doing today. So it is not due to any quality issue or any technical issue as we see as of now, right now.
ये तो मैं भगवान के दोष कभी दूंगा नहीं, क्योंकि ये एक कंपनी के दोष है, ये भगवान के दोष है नहीं, क्योंकि ये मैं मतलब आपका भूकंप आया नहीं है ये।
The first thing I would like to say, the flyover, the construction started long back in 2006. There has to be some sort of discrepancy in the entire system. That's why it took so long for a flyover that was supposed to be completed long back in 2010. It shifted to 2012 and now, so a committee should be formed. Entire probe should be done as to who is the faulty here. Because it's not some earthquake, that's an act of God. God cannot be blamed in this.
Well, Monideepa Banerjee joins us now from near the site of this accident. Monideepa, what is the latest on the rescue operations? A lot of concern about the number of people that could be trapped under there.
That's right. There is a continuing concern about that. We understand as many as 50 to 60 people are out there in the hospitals of Kolkata being treated for injuries. 15 to 16 people are dead. That is what has been confirmed by the authorities. But who knows what lies under? You heard that gentleman I spoke to in the morning, Manoj, say there was a bus trapped underneath. Now, we don't know that for a fact. The CCTV footage shows only taxis and small cars and motorcycles passing by and not a bus. But as somebody pointed out to me, it's not a wide angle lens. There may have been a bus which is under. It could well be, but we don't know for sure. Certainly hoping this is not correct whatsoever. Some good news coming out of this place, of course, is that a bunch of policemen, traffic policemen who were on duty, buried under the rubble, they were found alive. And water, they asked for water when the drills cut through to them. They asked for water, they were given water, and a huge effort was put in to get them out. There was, in fact, another traffic policeman I met, BK Nath. He was all muddied, and he said he had actually been standing and directing traffic when this whole section of concrete and steel came down, and he just had a very narrow escape. But I also met a frantic young man who said his sister had called him and said, "I am under the flyover, I'm trapped." After that, he wasn't able to get in touch with her. I'm hoping he has since. So stories, of personal brushes with death, stories of people who have lost their loved ones, and of course people who are hoping that there is nobody else left under. But again, we are being told by the authorities that they will continue the effort overnight to ensure that the rubble is cleared as soon as possible.
Monideepa, just stay with us. I just want to go across to Mr. O.P. Singh, the DG of the NDRF, who's joining us live tonight from here in Delhi. Mr. Singh, the NDRF is, of course, a key part of the effort that is underway to pull people out. What is the latest, sir? What can you tell us?
Ever since we got this information, we immediately dispatched our teams to the accident site. Right now we have 6 teams working there with almost 270 people were working with their specialized equipment. So far we have extricated 3 dead bodies. We are in search of the trapped victims. In fact, the difficulty is how to clear the rubble first, and then after the search can begin. But we are carrying all those equipment which can come before us very handy. For example, the victim locating cameras can be, and they are being used also. The sniffer dogs are there, and we would like to search each and every part of the accident site where the people could be suspected to be trapped inside. So it will take some time. Our night operation would be on. We'll keep working till the night, and we'll see how best we can and how early we can pull out the people live.
So as you said, of course, it's a very difficult operation, and you're saying it will take some time. What are the difficulties, though, that authorities are facing on the ground? We could see that earlier a big crane was actually sent to try and lift the concrete, and even that wasn't able to do it because there's just this huge debris that's lying there. It's a very congested area as well. What are the difficulties that your forces are facing?
Absolutely. Right now you said it about the congested area. That's one of the big problems. Because of the crowded locality, the people are there, the bystanders are there, they are just watching, and then you have the crowd management, you have the traffic management problem, and apart from that, the heavy machinery, the crane or for example any other machinery cannot come into that area. So the rubble clearance is going to be a big problem, and until unless we clear the rubbles or debris, we perhaps cannot very wholeheartedly go for the search operations, because the entire operation is dependent on 2 factors: how beautifully, how professionally you conduct the searches, and how effectively you try to pull out people alive. As I said, that 3 dead bodies have already been recovered, but I suspect that few people are still trapped inside. I can't tell you the exact number, but we suspect that the way the accident has taken place or the crisis has developed, we suspect that some people might be trapped inside. So we'll have to just go locate them inside the rubble, and we'll have to make entry for our own for our own interest. So these are some of the challenges we may face in the night. And then on top of it, we have the lighting problem. If the electricity is there, but we are carrying our own power backup. So we'll continue the operations throughout the night.
That's very important. So you're saying that the operation will not stop because at night it is going to go on for as long as it takes.
Absolutely, this is going to go on.
So do you fear that the number of casualties could go up dramatically? There is a fear about that because, as you say, even you can't estimate how many people could be trapped under this rubble. We don't know. So is there a fear that we could really see a large number of casualties at the end of this?
I can't say exactly about the number of casualties, but certainly this may go up, but I'm not very certain about it. Unless we go for the entire search operation, I cannot say very authoritatively about the number of casualties. So far 15 or 16 have died, and we are in constant touch with the state administration. So I think the suspected people could be, the first priority is to take them out alive. So I can't talk very authoritatively about the number of casualties.
And if you could give us a sense, sir, of just how your forces are, are managing to do this. You were mentioning in the beginning the use of sniffer dogs and sensors. What is the kind of equipment you're using, in order to be able to do this?
Look, these days the responses are going to be very technological. We carry all specialized equipment like hydraulic gas.
All right, sir, my apologies. I'm afraid we have a problem with your audio there. We're going to try and fix it. My sincere apologies for that. I'll just go across to my colleague Saurabh, who's at the spot actually as we speak. Saurabh, what is the latest you're hearing from there? We just heard from the DG of the NDRF telling us that this is going to be an operation that will take time, that they're looking for people who are buried alive under all that rubble.
Well, that's right. It is going to be a time-consuming operation, and that's what the NDRF personnel on the ground here are saying. And like the NDRF DG said, some of those problems that they're facing are very clear in these pictures. Now, here you can see those heavy-duty cranes that have been brought in much later. And as you can see, a part of that girder is now being lifted by one of those cranes. And this is something that's taking time because this is extremely heavy, and it is requiring a lot of effort and a lot of power to actually pull it out from there. As you can see now in these pictures, one of those girders is being pulled out from there, and the NDRF personnel, army column, nearly 300 men, the police, including the top cop of Kolkata, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, he's here. In fact, he's amongst those 3 policemen who's standing right there just beside the crane. All of them are coordinating. There is enough light here though for the operation, and the NDRF has some really good equipment to actually get, sniff out light under the debris. They have these thermal cameras. They have a lot of equipment that is designed specifically for a situation like this, and that's why their role becomes the most important here, given the fact that they're going to be doing most of the search operation, like the DG mentioned, and also pull out those bodies. So here you can see in these pictures, one of these girders is now being brought to the side, and this is how it's going to go. Part by part, they're going to cut through these girders and then bring them out and place them on the side, and then where they're going to be drawn away by another crane. And it's taking time simply because of the weight and the size of not just these girders, but also the concrete slab that has collapsed. In fact, you can see on the other side here, this is the size of the concrete slab that has collapsed. So obviously this operation is something that is taking time, and that is why this is going to continue all night, like the NDRF personnel on the ground or the NDRF DG has said. And also the army has made it clear that till the last man is actually pulled out, this operation is going to continue right here at Girish Park in Kolkata.
All right, Saurabh, I'm going to come back to you in a few minutes from now. Saurabh reporting there actually via a Skype connection because, like we've been saying all evening, it's a very, very congested area, and it is impossible to really do anything else at this point. I'm going to go across to my guests here in the studio now. Prasenjit Bose, who is, of course, a well-known economist and lives in Kolkata. Jayanta Ghoshal, the editor of the Anand Bazar Patrika, and we'll be going across to General VP Malik, the former Chief of Army Staff, and Sudhir Vora, Kolkata, who is an urban planner and architect as well. General Malik, to you first, sir. Once again, we have turned to the army in time of disaster. What a challenge this would be, sir, wouldn't it, for the forces today? We could tell from the DG, NDRF statements to us just now that it really is a very, very difficult situation given the area that this has happened in. All right, I'm afraid we've lost General Malik's line as well. Let me take this to you first, Jayanta. I mean, you know, I think you would notice we don't have anyone from the Trinamool Congress on this program today. They've said that whatever had to be said was said by the Chief Minister. We will not speak on this anymore.
I don't know why Trinamool Congress, they have not come, because, you know, irrespective of party line, today actually it's not the day to blame and politicize the issue. So we should not go into the blame game. But you know, when you are in power, you have to accept the responsibility also. Because for the credits, I mean, of the government, the good performance of the government, you take the credit. So for the disaster, for any fiasco, you have to take the responsibility also. I'm happy that today Chief Minister is very proactive and taking actions, operation is on. But my question is that it's a joint venture program. And I know that when CPM government was there, it started. But you know, this company, it's a blacklisted company, not only for the West Bengal government, they don't know, but the Railway Ministry,
the UP government had
blacklisted them, UP government, Jharkhand High Court gave stricture to this company. And you know, today I was talking to a railway official. He told me that they alerted the KMDA, not the state government, but the KMDA is the Kolkata Municipal Development Corporation. So official to official, this communication was there that this company, they should blacklist this company. So now the question is that CPM started. I am not supporting the CPM government, but why you have not evaluate and revisit the issue? And you know, the delay, you started in 2006, and Chief Minister again and again she says that do it now. There should not be any delay. When this delay is on and the builder is saying it's an act of God, I feel very pity. I feel very pity, because you know, they should take the responsibility. Yesterday the work was on, but there was no support base, and that actually the experts, they have seen. So
I'm going to talk about that with Mr. Vora in particular. We do have General Malik's line back, and General Malik, just to focus for the moment on the rescue work, because that is still underway, and you know, there's a big concern about the number of people, sir, that could be trapped, and it would be certainly a very challenging task, wouldn't it, for the army and the other forces today, given the place where this has happened in a very congested, crowded area of the city.
Yes, that it is. It's a tragic incident which has taken place.
All right, I apologize. We've lost that link again to General Malik. But Prasenjit, let me take this to you. You know, as you hear this, the Telegraph had actually done a story in November. I have the article in front of me. You know, questioning why Mamata Banerjee had insisted on having this flyover completed by February. It was already 62 months behind schedule at that time and barely 76% complete at that time. And they have listed out the reasons in fair detail about why, you know, this was problematic, and it seems to have been an unfortunate prophecy on their part.
Well, what can I say? I mean, this is the sorry state of affairs in our home state. Anyway, but since the rescue operations are still on, and you know, it's a very big tragedy. So many people have lost their lives. So this is really not the time where we would like to get into the political issues involved in that. Let the rescue operations conclude, and at least the victims of the tragedy, let them at least, you know, have some succor. But definitely, you know, I mean, we are so outraged by what has happened. This is not the first flyover which has collapsed in Calcutta. 3 years back, we all know, another flyover had collapsed. 4 years back, slightly over 4 years back, you had a fire in a hospital where, you know, 90 patients died. So generally there is something rotten in the state of West Bengal, and I think that it goes beyond. We should really stop thinking in terms of and I am sure the Chief Minister also has started the same kind of blame game that that is the usual. We find that happening all the time in Bengal. I think we should come about that. What is happening here? I mean, why should this kind of a company, which has absolutely no business, is a debt-ridden, loss-making, blacklisted company, which has caused so much of time and cost overrun, why is it still building that flyover in the first place? They should have been thrown out long back. And unfortunately in West Bengal the problem is that such tragedies happen, but then nobody is held accountable also. People will forget. After a few weeks you will find the media will move on, elections are anyway happening, and nobody will talk about it. Those poor people would have lost their lives. So the culture of West Bengal politics, there is no accountability. People can do anything and they get away with it. And people's lives have become cheap. That is the basic problem in West Bengal.
By the way, that's a problem I think across the country.
But I would insist, I would insist that there is something specifically rotten in West Bengal.
I just
very specifically rotten in West Bengal.
You know, I want to again try to go back to General Malik. General Malik, my apologies, sir, for losing the audio with you twice. But in my third attempt, sir, if I could ask you the challenges that the army and the other forces would face today in this rescue effort.
You know, first it's a tragic incident right in the heart of Calcutta, and while the army would really respond as quickly as possible, they will have some equipment, but I feel that they won't have all the equipment required for this kind of disaster. And like for example heavy cranes, they may not have it in Calcutta. Then the accessibility to that area itself would be a big problem. They will do their best, I have no doubt, and I'm sure other agencies are also doing their best. But I think here we need to focus on the lack of disaster management drills, disaster management equipment in the urban areas. Calcutta and many other urban areas are now facing such problems every few days. And none of these cities have adequate equipment or trained personnel to deal with such incidents. And therefore, there is a tendency to straightaway call for NDRF or the army, which I think, while they are responding promptly is justified, is okay, but the agencies themselves, the civil administration themselves, they should also be making sure that they have adequate equipment if such incidents take place. And as I said, these are happening far too frequently these days.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, what you said about that lack of disaster management, Sudhir Vora, the point is that I don't think, all of us expect flyovers to suddenly come collapsing down on cars and on people walking on the road. This is just so shocking that this has happened. And then for the builder to say that this is an act of God is just the most appalling statement that you can make in a situation like this.
Well, you see, it wasn't a flyover; it was an under construction flyover. And how can you have the gall to say it is an act of God? We are having these collapses all the time, and every year. It's not only about Calcutta; it's not only about West Bengal. I don't agree with the other panelists that this is a issue about West Bengal. We have no accountability systems in place. We have no regulation for engineers who design flyovers. We have no regulation for engineers who construct flyovers. We have no laws in place through which a design fault can be pinned down. A company is not liable, does not have criminal liability. Criminal liability has to be with individuals who do the design and who construct. This is world over. We still don't have an Engineers Act, and we're building infrastructure across highways and bridges without standards being put into place and without a legal regime which can bring in accountability. So obviously you will find the lowest tenderer, you will find somebody who's known to XYZ. We've had occasions where airports have been built by road contractors. This is just one of those indicators of the wrong persons doing the wrong jobs. There's nothing more to that. It's not happened here. It's happening all over the country. We had one collapse in Rajasthan a few years ago. We had the metro falling down in 2009 in Delhi while it was being built. This is not act of God. This is human design and construction error. It's a combination of both. There are both, and there is no regime to hold you accountable and liable financially and criminally culpable. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, to give you, it's a wrong example, but our next door neighbor Pakistan, whom we keep ridiculing for various reasons because they're not democratic, had a Civil Engineers Act in 1976. That's 50 years ago or something. We're sitting in 2016. We don't have a system of either controlling the standards of education for design or construction personnel anywhere. And this is what it comes down to.